Hi guys, it's Antrazix here and I'm back on another video. This is my first video in 3 years, I believe. The reason why for being such a long time between this video and the previous video, I actually got quite sick. I found out I had cancer and I had to go into hospital for a week until they could actually do the surgery to remove the cancer. I was in a considerable amount of pain, and as of this recording I'm about somewhere just over 2 years cancer free. But I've got another, I got just under 3 years of being overseen by the cancer center that I have to attend until they can actually give me the official confirmation that I'm 100% cancer free. So yeah, that's the reason why I haven't been active on this channel in such a long time. But getting off that morbid topic, what I'm going to be talking about today is the recent reveals from San Diego Comic-Con. And the first one which I want to talk about was the first one that was revealed on the morning of these reveals, which is the Powerlinks Hotshot with Minicon Jolt. And then this is the Legacy Hotshot mold repainted to homage his Powerlinks slash Super Mode design from the original Armada series. And what's different about this figure is that he comes with two new blasters, which one of them appears to be inspired by the blaster that his Energon incarnation used, and also he comes up with the first Minicon in the Legacy line, that being Jolt. And Jolt, it appears to be gang molded to those blasters. Jolt looks pretty cool, looks pretty faithful to his original design. A lot more articulation than that previous figure he had in the early 2000s, and then I think he had another one in the mid 2000s. Yeah, he still combines with Hotshot and vehicle mode to make that propeller thruster piece in the back of his car mode. Hotshot color scheme very indicative of Hot Rod, who I believe Hotshot was originally called in the Japanese version of Armada. See, I think it's a really cool set. Jolt, for this particular version of Hotshot, he technically should be yellow, but I'm assuming because of them wanting to have this as a companion piece to Hotshot for the Legacy, the original Legacy release, they went with orange just to make sure that the Hotshot has his companion Minicon. I just tried to add this in when I was originally recording this, but if you look on the box for Hotshot, you will see in the background Armada Thrust. Now Armada Thrust, it appears to be a retool of the Earthrise Conehead Seeker mold. Personally, I was hoping he'd be a completely new mold, but knowing Hasbro, they more than likely just wanted to save some money and reuse a figure to release his character. I'm hoping it's good. Hopefully we'll get a reveal for him soon. Thrust was probably my favourite Decepticon from the original Armada show, and just knowing that he'll be getting a figure at some point makes me happy. But yeah, that's Hotshot and Jolt. Next up we have the next Shattered Glass reveal, and that is Shattered Glass Rodimus and Sideswipe with Whisper. Now Rodimus is essentially reusing the Studio Series 86 Hot Rod mold, just in a different colour scheme, but he also comes with a new head sculpt which has the sculpted facial hair on it. I do love the colour scheme, the black, the silver, the purple and the red. It works very well. But what's the standout of this set for me is the Sideswipe and Whisper. Sideswipe, the original Shattered Glass Sideswipe was actually a repaint of the Armada Wheeljack figure, aka Rampage, who in turn was inspired by G1 Sideswipe. And you can see in this figure that he has the Armada Wheeljack head sculpt. He has Armada Wheeljack's tonfas. He has the slashed Autobot symbol chest, which is very much Armada Wheeljack. And he comes with a Minicon who's essentially a repaint of Armada Wheeljack's Minicon partner Windshear. So this is more than likely going to be, not more than likely, it's obviously going to get repainted into Armada Wheeljack at some point in the future, hopefully next year. I'm hoping when they do give us Armada Wheeljack from this, they do go with the Japanese color scheme, because I do like the blue striping that the Japanese version had. So I did hope they go with that design, or that deco for Wheeljack when they do release him. And Whisper is our second Minicon in this line. So hopefully we get some more Minicons in the next coming months and next year. I'd love to see Megatron and Starscream and Optimus and get their minicons as well at some point, however they release them, because I believe the Battle Masters and Target Masters in the War for Cybertron trilogy didn't do that great. And looking at the way that even you look at Point Blank and Needle Nose from the current Legacy line, they came with their Target Master partners, but those Target Master partners had to be worked into the budget for those specific figures, because I don't think they would have sold well on their own. But yeah, that's the Shattered Glass, Rodimus and Sideswipe with Whisper. Next up we have our next IDW Origins capsule pack, which is the Deadeye Duel 2-pack. It features the Stunticon Cascade, who is a repaint of the Siege Chromio mold with a new head sculpt, and the other one is the Senate Guard Autobot Javelin, who is a repaint and retool of the Studio Series Bumblebee movie RC mold. Starting off with Cascade, I think the color scheme works very well. I love the head sculpt, but I'm not a fan of the choice of mold for her. To be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of the Siege Chromio mold. It just felt very clunky. It didn't feel very well thought out in my opinion. I think they could have done way better with that figure, but unfortunately it didn't turn out that great. But I think it works for this character, but I still would have preferred a different mold for her. But the one I'm most excited for out of this 2-pack is Javelin. I love the reuse of the RC mold. It really works for this character, and I love that they retooled the chest and the backpack and the head, and they've given them both their own sniper rifles. I think this worked very well. It's nice to see Hasbro kind of further dip into other facets of the Transformers franchise, other characters who typically might not get their own figure or might not get a new figure in quite a while. And this is giving me hope for hopefully a 2-pack of IDW Beast Wars, Nyx and Skold at some point. Nyx I could see easily being done if they just take the Kingdom Eraser mold, retool it, get rid of the bird parts, give it bat parts. It would work really well for Nyx. So I'd love to see those characters get figures, because I really like those designs, specifically Nyx's anyway. That's the Deadeye Duel 2-pack. Next up we have probably one I'm most excited for, and that is Nova Prime. He is a repaint and retool of the Siege Galaxy Upgrade Optimus Prime mold, with the retool parts being the chest, shoulder pieces, wings and head for his super mode. I think this is a very good choice for Nova Prime. I still would have liked to have seen a more accurate Nova Prime, because I believe the original Nova Prime design was based on the Energon Rodimus design. Hopefully get a version of that Nova Prime at some point in the future, but I'm still fine with this particular figure. Definitely one I want to pick up at some point. The only problem I have with this figure has to do with vehicle mode. I feel like the vehicle mode is very bland. It needed more black, needed more hints of gold, but besides that I think it's a very cool design, and I'm really looking forward to picking this figure up. Now the one I'm unfortunately the least excited for and actually disappointed with is Nacelle. Now Nacelle is reusing the Siege Seeker mold. I do like that mold. It's probably one of the better Seeker molds that Hasbro has ever put out, in my opinion. But what's most disappointing about this character for me, reusing the Siege Seeker mold, has to do with the fact that Nacelle was actually pretty unique in terms of the Seekers. He was using a cone head body, that being thrust, but using the typical Seeker head sculpt. So I was really hoping he would have gotten that sort of figure using the thrust mold, but with the Starscream, Thundercracker, Skywarp head. But unfortunately they went with the Siege mold, which is disappointing to me, but hopefully we get the more accurate Nacelle at some point in the future, because I'm just not feeling this particular figure in general. Next up we have pretty exciting release. That is the box set for the Stunticons, done in toy deco colors. They all look very nice, very indicative of those original toy designs. Breakdown is actually pretty cool in the fact that it comes with two heads: the original animation head, which was used than the typical Legacy release, as well as a Toy Deco head, which I believe that figure was actually leaked many months ago and reviewed by people online we shall not name. But yeah, I do think this set looks very good. Personally, I'm not going to pick this box set up. I prefer the animation colors personally. Now at this moment in time, I actually only have Dragstrip and Wild Rider, hoping to get Breakdown soon, but unfortunately Deadeye I've only seen in person once and he sold out very quickly, and Modern Master I've not seen at all, but I'm going to try and source them from online if I can. But yeah, if you missed out on any of these figures when they were originally released, you have another chance to get them in Toy Deco colors. I still do think it's a very cool set, and it gives people another choice to get these figures. So yeah, that's the Stunticon Toy Deco box set. Next up we have the first Commander class for Studio Series, that being Ultra Magnus. This is absolutely amazing. It's the first Commander class for Studio Series, as I said. Hopefully the next Commander class for Studio Series will be Stratosphere from Rise of the Beast, as he's a pretty big character in the film, and the only way to do him justice would be to do him in the Commander class price point. But getting back to Ultra Magnus, this is an all-in-one transformation. There's no White Optimus Prime body which you attach armor pieces to. This is all built in one, very similar to the Masterpiece figure and the original animation transformation. And what's pretty cool about this is that he comes with the Matrix leadership. He has a compartment for the Matrix. You just lift up the blue part of his chest and the red parts of his chest will open automatically due to springs, and I think it's a pretty cool feature. He does come with 2 guns, his trademark shoulder missiles, and yeah, he looks absolutely amazing. I believe he's supposed to be roughly the same size as Leader Grimlock from Studio Series, but the price point itself was mostly put into the engineering, trying to make this the best Ultra Magnus that there has been. And he also has a feature where you can remove his limbs to recreate the scene from the original movie where he's actually blown to pieces and the Junkions put him back together piece by piece, which is a pretty neat feature as well. So yeah, that's Ultra Magnus. And moving on to our core class, we have Terracon Novocaine, who is essentially a straight up repaint of the Freezer figure. Now personally, I can't tell that much of a difference between this and Freezer. Maybe it's just lighter colors in terms of the plastic. But yeah, that's Novocaine. Next up we have Frenzy Red, who is essentially a repaint of Rumble Blue. Now to me, in the whole Frenzy Rumble debate, Frenzy's always been the blue one to me and Rumble's always been the red one to me. That's how I'm going to treat them. Now I actually haven't seen core class figures in quite a while. I believe after the first wave of Legacy, my local toy store actually stopped stocking core class altogether. So I've not seen Rumble Blue, Exosuit Spike, Wheelie, or any other of the core class figures at all in my local toy store, which is unfortunate. So I'm going to have to be picking up Frenzy and Rumble online. But what can you do? I do think it looks very cool. I love that it comes with the pile drivers. So yeah, that's Frenzy Red. Next up we have a very interesting choice for core class, that being the Exosuit Noah Diaz. Now this is based on concept art, if I'm not mistaken, and that's why it doesn't look the same as the on-screen model of the exosuit. It does transform into a little jet, which is very interesting, as he never used the suit transform in the film at all. But this particular design of the suit really reminds me of the G2 Cyberjets in terms of the head, the placement of the wings, and the arms. It just really reminds me of those Cyberjets, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, that's Exosuits Noah. Next up we have Studio Series Nightbird, looking a hell of a lot better to me than the mainline figure. It really looks really cool. I love that head sculpt. I'm a bit perplexed about to her wings, because the wings in the film were actually relatively big, but here they're actually quite minuscule, which I find very odd. Maybe that was original concept design, I honestly don't know, but it just looks so weird to me on this figure. But yeah, that's Nightbird. Next up we have the Movie 1 Decepticon box set, which includes Barricade, Starscream, Megatron, and Blackout. Now, this isn't all Decepticons from the first film, because I believe the only ones that are missing from this box set are Bone Crusher and Brawl. But I think it's very cool that Hasbro is doing this for anybody who's actually missed out on those particular figures when they originally released. because I do believe they go for ridiculous prices on the secondary market at this moment in time. So I do like that people have another chance to get these figures. Personally, I'm not interested in these figures at all. But yeah, if you missed out on them, you have another chance to get them. And it's very much in the same vein as what they did last year with the Movie 1 Autobot cast. Releasing them all in one box set. And now for our final Studio Series reveal, which is the Studio Series 86 Ratchet, who is obviously a repaint of the Ironhide mold with a new head and light bar. Now, what I am disappointed about this figure is the lack of red stripe and the choice to use clear plastic. I'm not a fan of clear plastic at all. Clear plastic is just very brittle, it breaks easy. And I've heard people who've had Ironhide where the tabs, which are clear plastic, just snapped on them due to the amount of force you have to use to transform the figure. So I'm hoping that he does get a non-clear plastic release at some point in the future, similar to the way that they've done with Ironhide and Prowl, but without the battle damage, because I really do not like the battle damage. I really hope they re-release Ironhide and Prowl without the battle damage, but not using clear plastic, because I just cannot stand clear plastic on figures at all. But yeah, that's Ratchet, and for our final reveal, we have our next crossover figure. That being the Transformers Stranger Things crossover figure called Code Red. He transforms into the Superboy pizza van from the 4th season. A very odd choice for a crossover figure in my opinion, but next year I believe is Hasbro's last chance of using the Stranger Things license. Personally, I would have used Hopper's police truck in the 1st season, as I feel like that would have tied in more with the setting of Hawkins, where the series is set. But I still think this figure looks really cool. Now, it's a brand new mold, it's not showing any pieces from any previous figures. It's taking engineering cues from the Siege Ironhide Ratchet mold. There's no reuse of parts that I can tell, although the feet are very similar sculpting to those Siege figures, except they got new added details to them. But yeah, I think this figure looks really cool. He comes with an axe, a spiked club or bat, and the Superboy Pizza logo that's attached to the top of the van becomes a shoulder cannon, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's essentially all our reveals that we were given. One final thing before I leave off the video. Hasbro has announced that PulseCon is in September, the 22nd of September, if I'm not mistaken. So they'll more than likely be revealing more reveals. The next Transformers HasLab reveal, and hopefully we'll get some sneak peeks of Transformers for next year. But that's all. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.